This tent weighs only 800 grams, requires only 2 stakes to set up, and only 1 pole. And no, it's not a trekking pole tent, or made by Durston. Oh, and it's got a hole in the side of it. Introducing the Kamina Monopole 1 by Finetrack. Designed to offer the best of both a tent and a bivy, this interesting shelter has some unique features. Since I can only learn so much setting this up in my living room, I recently went on a hiking trip with this shelter. The aim was to learn more about the tent and see how it performed. Okay, so as you can see, this tent is pretty small and compact. It weighs just 800 grams. It's called the Kamina Monopole 1 by Finetrack. This is a one-person tent. It's designed to be an ultralight shelter. It's really easy to set up. Just requires 1 pole, and you can set it up with just 2 stakes at a minimum. It's a really interesting design. The shape is quite interesting, and I'll show it when I've got it set up. It's a non-freestanding single wall tent, and it's designed to be used pretty much year round, which is pretty cool. I'm really interested to get this out in some winter conditions at some point. Unfortunately, it's summer here, so not unfortunately, summer's great, but yeah, I do really want to get this out into some wintry conditions at some point. Let's get it set up and take a proper look at it. So this ground's not perfectly flat, but it should be fine. I've got my nice comfy inflatable mat for tonight, so shouldn't be a problem. So we're going to start by staking out the 4 corners. Comes with nice DAC aluminium tent stakes, so really high quality. So it comes with 1 pole, and it also comes with a pole repair sleeve, which is really nice. I really like it when companies include it in their tents. So the 1 pole runs diagonally across the tent, and it just slides in through the pole sleeve. I normally find pole sleeves a pain, but this one actually slides quite nicely. Now here's where the funny shape of the tent is. This vestibule actually pegs out like this. So if I peg out this here, that creates the shape of the tent. So we've got this weird almost like 70-degree corner here, just tucked into the tent. Yeah, I don't know how it will affect performance, but it's an interesting design. The guy line's kind of cool. It's similar to another tent I own, in that it sort of equalizes from 2 points. So if I pull this out, it actually helps to create more internal space. Okay, that's something I gotta watch out for. Just when I'm pegging in the guy line, I need to make sure I don't get the, when I'm pegging in the pole, I need to make sure I don't get it caught around the guy line. They're good to know. I'll just untake that and do that, and then put it back in. Pretty easy fix, but could be avoided. Take that one out. Another great thing about this tent and the company is they provide you with all the stakes you need. Total amount of setup, total number of stakes for this whole setup, to set up everything, including all the guy lines, is 9 stakes. And they give me 9 stakes. So that's pretty cool. There is also a line lock up the top here, so I can use to shorten this, which is handy in tight areas. Interesting. The vestibule takeout point runs from the actual storm flap. Does mean when I stake this out, it lifts up the storm flap. Sort of covers up the top but then lifts up. I'll give you guys a closer look. So this is the storm flap. It's designed to cover the zip so that rain doesn't get in. And it should cover the whole zip, but you notice down here, it stops covering it. That's the zip, that's the storm flap. Now it's supposed to fold over like that, but because it's staked out to the storm flap, it actually prevents it from folding. Now, if I take this stake out and I try to like stake it in like this or something, that might work a little better, but it's still very exposed and now not as tight. That's an interesting one. It won't really affect the performance too much due to the vestibule being separate from the main tent. So the water's going to get in here, but it's probably not really going to get inside the actual inner of the tent. Doesn't matter if you have gear on in this vestibule, you might get a little wet. I'd have to test it in heavy rain to actually see how that performs. That's a pretty cool tent. It's a really cool color, matches my sun hoodie. I really like it. It's going to be interesting to see how it performs. So Finetrack sent me this tent. They want me to give my honest thoughts about this tent and just show it off. So I don't have to say any good things about it, but I do like it. It's funky, it's different. It's different to any other tent I own. This is just first impressions, obviously. It's not like a full-on review. I don't have any experience with this tent yet. Like I set it up in my living room, but this is the first time it's actually been pitched out here. I do notice there's like this weird flappy thing here, but I don't think I can fix that. Anyway, a few kinks to work out, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Super high quality materials. We're looking at 30 denier nylon 6.6 with a PU coating. It's got a 1000mm waterhead rating on it. You can set it up with 2 stakes minimum. That's one in this corner and one in the corner opposite. And then with the pole, that's going to give you a shelter. Being able to stake out the guy lines gives it more wind resistance and storm worthiness, and it also gives it more internal volume as well. I would recommend staking it out completely. If you wanted to save weight, the guy lines, like this guy line here, I'd say is pretty essential because it brings out the internal space, and the one opposite corner as well. I'd say those two are pretty critical, and the vestibule as well. Probably about 7 stakes would be like if I didn't want to take the extra 2, but probably take the extra 2 anyway. One other interesting feature on this tent is this hole. It's a bit of a weird one, not something you really see on tents, but I'll touch on it later. Well, that's enough of the outside. Let's take a look in the inside. Ooh, hello. So it's pretty orange in here, but that's just because of the fly. Yeah, let's have a look. Alrighty, so the vestibule is pretty small. Not going to be able to fit a whole lot in there, but it's still usable. Got a separate mesh door here, which we can actually also unzip for more mesh, but we can close it up as well for added warmth. So coming through, it's a nice rectangular shape. For a one-person tent, it actually has a decent amount of room. I can sit up straight. There's plenty of room to lie down. It's quite a cool design because the walls at each end are actually quite straight. And same with the back one here as well. They've actually managed to keep a lot of the walls relatively straight or vertical instead of them coming in on a steep angle. I know, shoes in the tent. I'm being careful. It's not bad. It's got a decent amount of room. Can you actually see me? If I put my hood up, am I completely camouflaged with the tent? Where's Zeb? Oh my god, he's gone. No, I'm right here, guys. Don't panic. It's got a good amount of headroom. I can sit up straight in here. I do like how I can take away the bug mesh for more ventilation, or I can add it on for a bit more warmth. Finetrack have said this is supposed to be a combination between a tent and a bivy, or like meet that middle ground. So far, I like what I see. I think it's done a good job. I would say it's not as spacious or luxurious as some tents, but it's definitely more roomy than a bivy bag. This vestibule is not huge, and it just sort of pokes out at the front here. Probably could squeeze my gear in here, but it's not the biggest vestibule ever. Hey, it's better than nothing. My main worry is going to be condensation. I've got open skies above me. I sort of did that intentionally. That way I'm going to get the worst amount of condensation I can. We'll see how it performs. Hopefully I don't wake up in a bathtub in the morning. Tent uses one pole, which is the main ridge that runs diagonally across the tent. But they have also made it that you can set this up without it. You can actually use a hiking pole. Now these are fixed length, so I can't really adjust them. So I'm not sure if this will work, but I'm pretty sure if I were to take this pole out, I can put my hiking pole in the top here, and then use that to support the tent. And it makes it sort of like a trekking pole tent. And the cool thing about the vestibule is it doesn't get in the way. So that can go there, support the tent. It's not going to give it as much shape or rigidity as the main ridge pole, and well, it would make it possible to set it up if I didn't have the pole, or the pole broke, or I wanted to save weight and still bring the shelter but use a pole with it. So it's pretty cool. You can also do the exact same thing with a ridge line. So if you run like a ridge line across and then use that to pull up the tent, it's not going to give it as much shape as the proper setup, but it's a cool option and like a neat alternative. Ugh. That sunset is gorgeous. I'm loving it. Going to quickly touch on what this hole in the tent is. Hello. Ooh. There's two parts. There's this like mesh inner, and then there's also a fabric, like the fabric of the tent inner. So I can close one or the other or both. If it was bad weather, I'd close the outer, but for tonight I'm kind of sticking it out the door nice and wide open like that. And then I'm closing the mesh inner to stop bugs getting in. And this is basically just their kind of a vent. It's an interesting design, and I am curious as to why they went with this sort of style. Hopefully it'll work, hopefully it'll help just provide a bit more airflow. So that's the tent. It's pretty unique, and it's not like anything I own. It's got some pros and some cons, but I'm looking forward to trying it out more, to see where it fits in with my other shelters. If you want to see the full trip video of me using this tent and that glorious sunset, then stay tuned, as I'll have it out in the next week or two. Thanks heaps to Finetrack. Be sure to check them out. They're making some really cool gear that is designed to last. Thanks for watching.